Welcome to the awareness angle. I don't know if are we going to intro like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think go for it. It'll probably evolve across the many episodes.
I am sure things will change. Let's hope we get to many episodes. This is the first episode of our podcast called The Awareness Angle, focusing on security awareness stories, information security stories, and giving you the security awareness angle on them. If you don't know me, I'm Anthony. I do security awareness at a FTSE 100 company, and I've been doing security awareness for 10 years. And go on, Luke.
Yep. So I'm Luke. I've been in the cybersecurity industry since 2019 now, starting off working with Anthony, primarily on the content sort of creation side. So playing around with the tools like the Adobe Creative Cloud, so like Photoshop and Illustrator, making posters around cybersecurity and security awareness messaging. And then, evolving into a little bit more on the writing side of newsletters and blog posts and helping towards the overall security program. So, yeah.
It's been real fun because me and Luke have worked together for some time, and it's been real fun watching you grow, actually, from coming in and being just to make me some content that looks good, to now getting embedded in the whole security thing and actually getting it, and the security, you're now a security awareness professional, not just a content person, which has been definitely awesome. Yeah,
I guess other than instead of this is what they could look like, or this poster looks nice, it's sort of we should do this to give this message or this aspect of it or whatever.
Yeah,
doing that a little bit more.
It's been fun. So why the podcast, Luke? Why do you want to do this podcast? I'm throwing you into the lion's den now. Why do you want to do the podcast, Luke?
I mean, because you dragged me here. You've been wanting to do a podcast for ages. So, but I think just sharing a bit more about what we sort of do, I guess. But in terms of helping others like us do similar and share the latest news around a cybersecurity incident or a cool tool that people like us can use to help elevate their content, I guess.
I nailed it. I think that they're all really, really good reasons for me. I have wanted to do a podcast for ages. It's just finding the right person to do it with. And here you are. I think it's great though, because
very fortunate and honored.
Well, we can, for me, I think it's good because we can talk about the stories we see in the news and on LinkedIn and the other stories that other security awareness professionals tell. And then we can spread the word and tell people how they can use that. What we've done in the past is we see stuff happen in the real world and then we tell our colleagues about it and use that as a method of educating them to be safe. Just today, someone said to me, how do you feel it's important to talk to people about their personal life and the tools they use at home rather than just at work? And I was like, absolutely. We've done messaging on social media and 2FA on Facebook and WhatsApp and scams.
It's always a good sort of way of getting people to be interested in it, sort of know how they can protect themselves outside of work and their family and friends and whatever.
I think so. I think we're quite unique as well. You and me have got two very different takes on it. I mean, you've got a different back. You come to security through a different path to me. I've come from sales and marketing and lots of kind of performative stuff and communication and then came into IT late. Whereas your journey here was the technical, pretty much, wasn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, starting off in IT help desk and helping people there really with all their fun technical issues and some stories there, I'm sure. But
we've both done IT help desk. Yeah, that's not fun. Well, it is, but it's also Even there, though, right? You're explaining like technical problems to people that aren't technical. So you're already translating the technical into the non-technical, which is essentially what we're trying to do as awareness people.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the idea of this podcast and the reason we're doing it, the awareness angle, weekly. Are we saying a weekly? We're talking weekly, aren't we, at the moment?
Yeah, we'll aim for weekly.
We'll aim for weekly. So the idea is that this will be a weekly podcast on security awareness news. And by listening to this podcast, you will come away with fresh ideas and energy and some stories to tell and some fun tools to use, I suppose, is what we're saying.
Yeah, I think that covers it pretty well.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So should we get into it then? I've got a story to tell, actually, that happened just at dinner tonight. So my daughter got sent, my daughter's got a mobile phone. She's 12 and she hasn't got TikTok. She hasn't got Snapchat. She's only just got WhatsApp. When she went up to secondary school in September, we let her get WhatsApp. But she got sent a photo by one of her friends on iMessage. And the image appeared blurred. And then it said, "This image may contain nudity. Are you sure you want to open this message?" And this was on a group chat with two of her 12-year-old female friends. She was like, okay. And then she clicked yes. And then it said, "Are you sure you want to view this message?" And then she selected yes. And in the end, it was just a funny photo of one of her friends' forehead, like from a funny angle, and her forehead was massive. And I was like, okay, that, it could be in the right kind of light. There's a lot of flesh there. It could be something different. Her forehead was like this big, like looking at the camera. And then underneath that, at the bottom of the whole message chain now, just above the text entry field, has if the contents of this message is uncomfortable, report it by clicking here. And so I was like, I think that's amazing. And I've looked at this and I found an article from The Guardian on it, mentioning it in Australia. I gather they've rolled it out wider now, but this is from October this year. Right. And it was in one of the beta releases for iOS 17 in October. And essentially, it's just for people under the age of 13. Default for users under 13, but is available to all users. So that's probably a good setting to enable. I think if you're even if you're over the age of 13 and you get unsolicited photos. Yes.
No, especially for parental control. I guess you'd up to the parent how long, as much as they can argue, I guess, with their child to keep it all locked down.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's an age at some point where you have no choice but to let them have free reign.
Well, it's I think
for 13, right?
13, yeah. And there's something,
at least in the UK.
Yeah, I know there is certain restrictions. There's certain things you can't do with an iCloud account when a child is under a certain age. Even as an adult, they're like, this account cannot do this until you are X years old. Signing up for stuff and that, which I think is great. I know Australia's really hot on they've got a whole child safety bill online safety bill going through there, which is I've seen good news and bad news about. And if anyone's in Australia and wants to give us some guidance on that, that'd be great. But it's she's asked for Snapchat and TikTok, and we've told her no. And I'm like, your dad works in the wrong industry for you to be getting those, even though your friends have got them. And it's funny, even WhatsApp now, my wife didn't realize how social WhatsApp was, because it's got statuses and you can share statuses and stuff like that. She didn't realize all of that was there. So actually now my 12-year-old's there checking people's statuses. And we've had conversations with her about how, Instagram reality, and how it's like what you're seeing there isn't what's really happening. That's just what they want you to think they're doing. They might look like they're having fun, but they're not having fun.
As some status for like months, because you kind of sometimes set it and forget it, and it's like a feature that no one really uses that. No, I know. Yeah.
So I think if there's one thing people could talk about, if you check out iMessage, the actual URL on the Guardian article is Apple iMessage children nudity. You might not want to Google that, but if you don't Google that, definitely not at work. iMessage child safety. There's an article in the Guardian. We'll whack in the show notes for this as well. But that's something that I think we should tell people about.
Yeah, no, for sure. I wonder if there's an equivalent on Android. Let's have a little research and find out. I've not seen anything. There must be something similar.
There is a nice photo in the show notes of what it looks like as well. And I've just seen, actually, do you want to report this? If someone sends you naked images or videos, you can report them. Apple will look at the image or video and any other messages sent around the same time. In some cases, the police may get involved. Your name and information will be included in this report, as well as the information about the person who sent you the photos.
And then a global thing?
Don't know. The options are continue or message a grown-up. So it actually gives you the option there to message a grown-up, which is cool. I wonder what that looks like when you message a grown-up. Yeah. That's interesting. There'd be That's good. That's something to tell your employees about. And that's a prime example of like safety at home, right? Just vigilance and people thinking, pausing for thought and double checking. That's an excellent example as well of a control. Like takes some of the responsibility away from the human, because Apple have put a control in place there that does some of the thinking for you. It doesn't just, that's, I know. I didn't get sent many
people.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's because I'm a man. I didn't get sent many like offensive photos. Like, like that's something. Even when I was young, free and single, that's not something I get. But my guess would be that some people get more than others. So,
I mean, technology has obviously changed a lot, and these things are sort of a lot of child safety around technology is definitely becoming more and more like prevalent.
Absolutely.
It's only really been recently where these sorts of things come into place.
Yeah. Right. That's the first one from me. What have you got? You got anything?
I have a somewhat similar topic around mobile phones, I guess.
I stole your. I've stolen your thunder.
Yeah, the exact same. I had the exact same story actually. So I obviously have an Android phone, and recently had a notification to upgrade to Android 15, which is always nice to get the latest version. And as part of that was Google's new, I think it's new, anti-theft protection, which is a feature where it physically detects someone snatching your phone, which obviously is becoming a lot more of a crime these days, especially in places like London. And automatically locks your screen and lets you basically lock a criminal out of your phone before they get a chance to do anything nefarious with it. So it's an Android 15 thing that I think is coming to more devices later this year. And so there's a lot of features alongside that as well. So around remote locking and offline device lock and all sorts of things. Obviously, it's not going to stop thieves from doing it.
No.
Hopefully, it protects people from, thieves getting access to their accounts and banking and whatever else.
I think it's difficult, isn't it, when your mobile phone gets stolen? Like, thankfully, it's not happened to me. But I remember reading a post on LinkedIn a few months ago. I think we shared it actually internally about someone that had their phone stolen, and then like they were able to track it to a small shop near a train station, and like 2 weeks later it appeared up in China back online.
No, and, definitely they get stolen for parts.
Yeah,
a lot of times. Yeah,
but that's like, if it gets stolen for parts, nothing Apple or Google can do will stop that, because that's a physical object. Like, that's, unless they like put a little bomb in it that makes it explode, or that each part only worked, unless they do something.
There are some things like that, I think, with Apple especially.
Wow.
Certain things being like coded
right
to only work with. There's probably ways around it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
With like third-party repairs and stuff, but
yeah. One of the biggest worries, I think, not only like physical, like as long as the person isn't hurt, but the other thing is, oh my God, my bank, my email, like people's lives are on their mobile phones. Yeah. So by Google doing this, that kind of, at least you can now rest easy that, to some degree, as long as you trust the process, you can rest easy now that I am happy that at least my data is safe. You know, at least they're not going to get into my bank account, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Which is...
Yeah, so there's parts of this new feature where it prevents thieves from factory resetting your device, which apparently they were allowed to do before, which is surprising. I thought you'd have kind of had that as a feature already, where you'd have to like authenticate that. But
I remember many moons ago when when levers or handsets were returned at a company, having to bypass the Google protection on the phones to reset the phones because the lever had left and their account was still on there, and it was like, we want to give out this handset again. So you'd like be Googling, like, I think it was called like FRC bypass or something like that, and you'd be Googling like how to do it, and they'd be like, there'd be basically ways through to, like, you go into accessibility mode, press on this, go onto this help article, and then it'd bounce you out of the locked partition into YouTube, and then from there you could like access the main menu, and it's like, so there was always ways, but
I think it's a struggle to definitely close all these loopholes and stuff. There's always going to be someone that figures it out.
This is probably part of the problem with Android, just in its very nature, that it's, you know, you get Android and then you get everyone's own take on Android to some degree. Apple, they own the whole ecosystem, mobile.
Yeah, definitely a lot more locked down. With Apple.
Yeah.
Yes, it's scary. The whole thing around the phones getting snatched out of your hands. Just, especially in places like London. You're taking pictures or navigating around like tourists and whatnot, and then 1 minute someone comes along on a bicycle and takes it out of your hands, and it's gone.
It's gone. You're not getting that back. No. Goodbye. Mobile phone insurance is really expensive as well. Like, the wife's just got a new phone because the screen had broken on her old one, and like it's like £13 a month or something, which it's like
on top of a contract.
On top of a contract, it's £150 a year for insurance. You know, it all adds up.
It's worth checking. Like, sometimes your bank offers mobile phone protection, or like credit card or something maybe offers that sort of similar thing. But,
so that stolen phone feature, that's on the latest version of Android?
On Android 15 on, I think it's currently on Pixel phones.
Right.
But then they're rolling out some of the features down towards Android 10 Plus, I think it is.
Okay. And typically Pixel will get it, and everything else will get it like a year or two later.
Yeah, I think this one's supposed to be later this year, but it probably will only be like Samsung's and whatever the other top Android phones are.
Yeah.
But some of the other features I think are already somewhat existing, like Find My Phone and remote locking. That's always been around. So
Cool.
but yeah, stuff like that's obviously always good to set up and make sure it works. So the last thing you want is not to be able to find your phone or remotely control it.
It's probably a good time to tell people about this as well. Black Friday, loads of tech is sold on Black Friday. Christmas is coming. Loads of people will be getting phones for Christmas or something. So telling your workers about them, getting them set up, even if not setting them up on a work profile is one thing, but setting them up on their own devices, it's just good behavior. Yeah,
for sure.
Cool. The other thing I like about that as well, it's like Apple introduced crash protection into their iPhones a while ago, where the motion sensors in the phone, based on the activity of those, it can tell if you've been in a car crash.
Right.
Just like the massive shock that the phone goes through. And my guess is that it's a similar tech that this is using. Like if it's a sudden change in motion, like it must be really like, I wonder if you can set it off by accident just by dropping it or throwing it at, interesting.
You probably could, but I think as long as you're the owner,
maybe it uses GPS. Like if there's a sudden movement and then you start moving from stationary to really fast or something.
Yeah, as well as like the accelerometer and various other sensors. I'm sure it's all this crazy tech being able to do all these things.
Makes you wonder where they'll take it next. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Did you have anything else you wanted to mention today? Is there anything else worth mentioning?
There's potentially a couple other things. One of them is I don't know if you saw it, but you may have the AI granny built by O2.
I did see this. It's brilliant. It's so good. Yeah.
It's scamming the scammers and wasting their time.
She's I've dealt with people like her. My mum's not quite that uncapable yet. Like my mum's still got her wits about her, but I could see, give it a few years. That's amazing. Just waste their time. Like what they need, I saw someone comment and they said what they need is a way for you to point a call when you get a call. If you can like bounce it out to the granny. Yeah. That would be cool, because I think this is just a honey trap at the moment. Like it's literally like spread across a load of fake numbers or something. Yeah,
that is, getting the scammers to, I guess, get caught up with this AI granny to waste their time. And I guess as part of that is helping protect people, I guess.
Yeah. They're really convincing. We've done a video previously on PayPal, and it was actually a phishing email that came in, but we called it out. Basically, they wanted you to call them. So we called them, and I called the contact center, and they pretended to be PayPal, and they were so convincing. Like even hold music, and thank you for calling PayPal. How can I help? It's so real, It's you
can definitely understand how people get scammed by these things.
Absolutely.
Especially when the whole scare tactic and playing with people's emotions.
Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? The minute, it's like everything, even all this, and we've spoken before, I think everyone's talking about AI and forgetting about the basics, which I think is really important. But, essentially even it always goes back to fear, uncertainty, doubt, all of those emotions and feelings, be it an email, be it a phone call, it's all just a con,
Yeah. So especially when money's mentioned. It's always a concern that you've been scammed when you haven't. Not yet, at least. In that example of the PayPal scammers, where they made it look like you'd paid something, but you hadn't.
Yeah, looked like I owed a company like $500. It's like, what? That's like me doing what I do. It was obvious it was fake. But it was a real request from PayPal, BEC 2.0, I think they call that. So it was really obvious that it was from PayPal. It was from PayPal, but it was the content of the message that was fake.
Yeah.
And I spotted it a mile off, but I could quite easily see how someone would panic. Absolutely. Yeah. I here's a slightly off, but essentially, the phrase "con man" came up earlier, and I always think back to this because, like, it's the same old cons that people are trying to pull. This is just a new delivery method now. Yeah. AI helps us achieve it easier, but email, phone call. The term "con artist" or "confidence man" is only in 1840. It was first used, and it was a man called William Thompson. And I'm reading here, he operated in New York in the late 1840s, and he was a gently dressed Thompson. He would approach upper class targets, pretending they knew each other. I know you. How are you? And then he'd begin a very brief conversation, gain their trust, and then he would basically ask if he could borrow their watch. Oh, let me see the time. Oh, this is a nice watch. Can I have a look at it? And then he'd run. And that's essentially where the term con man came from. And this is it.
It's like simple.
Bringing them in, building their trust. Oh, have you got the time? They pull their watch out. And
can I say expensive watch?
Yeah. And he used like loads of different names. One of the names he used is actually the name of my brother. But he used loads of different names, and he was arrested and incarcerated in the Tombs in 1849.
Wow. That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, the New York Herald, recalling his explicit appeals to the victim's confidence, dubbed him the Confidence Man.
That's incredible.
And they reckon there's actually a book called The Confidence Man, written by Herman Melville, who also wrote Moby Dick. And they reckon that it was inspired by William Thompson. And the Tombs was, so in the UK, we used to have Newgate Prison, which was like a centuries-old prison. The Tombs sounds equally as horrible, but it was a city-run jail in 5 Points neighborhood of Lower Manhattan. And there's been like 3 different tombs, and they're actually building a new one. So the pictures of it look grim, though. So yeah, that's where that's where Confidence Man comes from. Con man, 1840s.
Yeah, it's always interesting to hear the origin stories of those sorts of things.
Yeah.
It reminds me of back when we did the ransomware little mini series and the origins of ransomware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was we did a video on that, didn't we?
Joseph Pop.
Yes.
Is that what it was?
Yes. Yeah, it was.
Distributing his floppy disks.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I remember.
I can't remember the exact
all on floppy disks. Yeah,
to dig it up, but
I'll tell you what. If we can get a little excerpt of the video, we could drop it in this, just in the show notes or something. Yeah, that was interesting. Again, though, like it's a great story to tell. Like we made ransomware interesting by telling people about the origin and how simply it was done. He posted, didn't he post floppy disks out to people and telling them that it contained something, and then when they ran it, it was ransomware and they had to pay.
Yeah, pretty much that. Yeah, it's almost what it is these days. Just again, a different delivery method.
Yeah, I've got a story about ransomware. The first time I ever encountered ransomware was about 2010. But I'm not going to tell you that today because I don't want to run out of stories by episode 1. So I'll save that for a day when we talk more about ransomware. I'm sure it'll bubble to the surface again at some point.
Yeah, we'll have to dig up the origin story for that one.
Yeah. Maybe next time. Maybe that's something for episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you got anything else for today?
No, I had my Confidence Man and I had my Apple, and I think for episode 1, we're probably done.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Been fun.
Yeah, it has. Hopefully and it's gone quick. I hope if you are listening to this, I hope you found it useful and enlightening. We'll put together some show notes and we'll tell you all about Apple security and Android security and con men. And we'll save the ransomware till next time. I think we'll tell you all about the first time I encountered ransomware. It's a fairly interesting story.
Tune in next week.
It's the impact was very, very small compared to like some of the stories you received today. But it was a different time, very different time. There's a lot of lessons to be learned from that one as well. Cool. Okay.
Amazing.
Thank you, Luke.
Okay. Yeah, thanks very much, Anthony. I'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
For the next one.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to The Awareness Angle.